Yes.
Easy going right there. One more to go.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, let's just get back Joanna there. I've got lost there. Pure apologies. Yes. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Online Racing League ORL. And we are here for the first round of our social races. We're back after 133 days left of racing until our infamous last round decider between Danny Berezne and Daniela Haddad. We are back underway, however, at the Suzuka track. And new familiar faces along the racetrack this evening, and obviously in the commentary box. My name is Joshua Davis, alongside a so more familiar face of Joanna Brito. How are you doing, Joanna?
Hi, good evening all. Welcome back to ORL. It's been a bit of a longer break than most leagues, but we are glad to be back. I'm very excited to see what comes out of this first race today. As you mentioned, a few names that raced last season, like Istvan Pulki, for example. He managed to grab at least one podium, so let's see what he shows us today. What is he looking up at this new F1 2022 game?
Absolutely. So obviously this is our first race on the new game, if you like. It's been out for a couple of months now, but this is our first race of the new season. And of course, some very, very good names in there. Jone Dovson is in here, Danny Lusink, and as we said, Ben Sabukonyi, one of the veterans of the league and the veterans of F1 League Racing. F-Ray Jack, another one who's come from the Xbox Residence and has really showed his pace on the PC. Dmitry Rinnik as well. Istvan Pulki again. A lot of the FES guys representing us today. Modestro Mena in the Ferrari as well. There's a lot of decent drivers here, and obviously a few new faces as well, which we will get into once we get in towards the lobby. We're just waiting for a few more people now, but obviously this is the first race of the season, Joanna. Obviously we are going to take things a little bit cautiously. I think a few of the guys will just take this as a little bit of a practice towards the season, but this is still going to be a very, very serious race for a lot of these guys, just for a prep of the season. But who do you think will probably have the upper hand in this one?
Easton is one of the names that I'd put on top alongside BenQ, and of course Pezo or Jan Haladay if you prefer. I've seen all of them race. Dimitri is not any slower as well. And as you mentioned, Modesto Mena, of course, from Spain, and Danilo Sink. All of them can go for a win, of course. The best thing about the new season is that we can get a few surprises. So I'm looking forward to that as well. And let's see. I think Suzuka, it's quite a challenging track for a first race, in the sense that you only have one DRS zone. So let's see who gets it better and who plays it smarter.
Absolutely. So it is a very, very tough track, as you said. We'll move over to the track guide now. 18 corners around this 5.807 kilometer track, and obviously the only one DRS zone available to us. A very long back straight, the only figure of 8 circuits on the calendar, of course, so there's a lot of things to be said about there, but it is definitely a challenging one, as you said. There's a lot of twists and turns around there. The slowest corner at around the hairpin just before turn 10 after the 2 Degners, only 43 miles per hour of an average there, so this is a very, very quick circuit, one of my personal favorites as well on the calendar. So it's a very, very quick and fast circuit, as we said, but obviously a few challenges in there as well. But obviously qualifying is going to be very, very tough as well. So a lot of places you can invalidate. The S-curves can just catch you for a little bit if you just take it a little bit too aggressively. And of course the Degness, if you cut it a little bit too much, you can get yourself a slap on the wrist as well. But obviously spoon curve as well. Get close to the turn 14 curve. It will spin you round. You will unsettle the car. 130R. Now probably not an issue in these modern day cars, obviously with the nature of the fast flat out hander you do have, but you have to be careful if you are going to go too wide. Obviously you can cause a few incidences for yourself. And then you've got the Casio triangle as well, obviously infamous moment 1989, Alain Prost and Ayrton Senna, the 2 teammates, having a little bit of a rumble there together. Hopefully we don't have any of that this evening, but we may encounter a little bit of a rubbing between the 2, but it should be a fairly calm and collected way for a lot of these drivers, Joanna.
Well, of course, the braking zone into the Casio triangle is always a very favorite spot of our drivers to try to get some maneuvers in. And of course, into turn 1, preferable with DRS and maybe ERS before the braking zone, which is not really a braking zone, it's more of a turning zone. You only really brake for turn 2. So yeah, most of the track will be trying to get the better possible exit out of spoon, so you get all the toe into 130R and then into the braking zone, trying to get it as clean as possible. Today will be slightly different than our championship races. We will not have a full quali, only a short one. 18 minutes for our drivers, our 20 drivers, to decide who will get pole position. And of course there's not so much of track evolution in play here, so let's see who gets it best at the end.
Absolutely. Obviously, a lot of these people, last season we did have the full qualifying format. It is short for tonight. Do you think that will probably get into anyone's head? Do you think that a few people, obviously being used to the full qualifying runs, will only do sort of that one run and then sort of leave it very, very late and may not get another one in? Do you think that will affect a lot of the guys here tonight?
Well, honestly, no. I think most of our drivers are used to this format, which is the most common in league racing. ORL distinguishes itself by having a full quali during the normal season championship. So I think it's more of a challenge when they do have to do a full quali than today's, where they'll have the 18 minutes, probably 3 tries around this track, maybe 4 if you abort one of them. This game you always get 4 sets of soft tires for the qualification. And of course, there is no longer the rule to eat that you have to start on those softs for the race. So it should be fun.
Absolutely. So we're just about to get ready for the race right now. We'll flick on over to the gameplay. We're just about to go into qualifying right now. And I'll tell you what, the action is not far upon us, obviously. We're at Japan, of course, the Suzuka circuit, the only figure of 8 circuit on the calendar with only one DRS zone around this circuit. It's 18 corners, of course, and it's going to be a top speed thrill ride once we get in towards qualifying, which should be any second. Now just waiting for a few more drivers to ready up, and we will be waiting and ready to go for the first piece of action of the new season. Thank you all very, very much for tuning in on your Sunday evening to watch us race around this circuit, and obviously our new Kickstarter towards the season. 133 days it's been since our last race at Austria. I feel that's way too long, so let's kick something off with the new game, a new platform, a new style of racing, and it should be absolutely incredible indeed. Efre Jack and Ismail Fassi, we're just waiting on those two drivers now, and we should get things up and running once again. Hopefully there are any issues with anything going on, which should not be an issue. But just waiting on those guys, just waiting on Efre Jack now. Apologies for trying to pull a little bit of time left. I'm trying to talk as much as I can until we can get in towards qualifying. I'll just check if anything has been said or not. Hopefully everything should be okay.
Just as a note to our spectators, that the squares is Vesmir. Unfortunately, I don't know why the game is not showing his name, but as a reference, that's Vesmir. That will be driving for Alpine today. And yeah, I mean, probably Jack is not in the game at the moment, and the timer is not starting because of that.
Yeah, hopefully we can get everything underway as quickly as possible. Just hoping anything has been said. No, it hasn't so far. Hopefully we can get things underway. Obviously we have been waiting a little bit of a while for this to happen, but I think Jack might be having a few issues if he cannot tab or anything else if necessary, because we are holding up a few people here. But obviously a few mixed conditions as well with the weather. We've had our fair share of rainy races around here in Japan. Most of the time I can really think of in the past few years have been fairly dry, but obviously, do you think many people will be trying to be practicing, if they have been practicing with both of the weather formats, Joanna? Do you think maybe a few people have been prepping for the wet weather?
I think this lobby has enforced dry weather, so that will not be happening tonight. It will be a dry race to all qualifying and race. And we have Jack leaving and the session finally looking to start. Hopefully he'll be able to rejoin.
Yeah, that should not be an issue. A few issues on Jack's side, but we'll continue nevertheless. Welcome to qualifying here at Suzuka. 18 minutes of full flat-out racing, and as we can see, we've got Istvan Pukki on the grid. IGP Aleppo, Danny Lusink, remember him, one of the quickest talents coming in this season on the PC platform. Really has made his presence known, obviously, from his Xbox days. Race K in the Haas. Emiliano Sachs is one of our admins as well. Jan Haladej, or Peso, as a few people like to be known in Saba. Headed use, I apologise if my pronunciation is not up to date. Kerry G in the other Haas alongside Dimitri Minik in the Alpha Tauri. Jeremy GLNR as well. Also Fidel blocking Lil 14N as well. Ismail Fassi, one of those quick drivers who can really pull his tail out when he can get jobs done. Efre Jack as well, coming back off his Xbox days. And obviously the square alongside the Alpine as well, as one I just mentioned as well. Timo Zovic as well in the women's race here. Yuri Dobson, Robbie Van, Ben Samuel Conye, and the Desperate Mena lines up your 20 grids. We're running on board now with Istvan Pukki. No one waiting for their time to come in. Straight away out of the blocks running for these first couple of sessions. This Van Pookie, who will be leading the way. Everyone on the soft compound tyres. Efra Jack does join us back, which is always great to see. Always love seeing a 420-man grid. This Van Pookie, the Alfa Romeo, following by a large train all the way there from Bento Baconia, I think, is just behind him in the Aston Martin, unless that is Jan Halliday, I believe. I'm not sure if it is or not. It is Jan Halliday in the Aston Martin, alongside the McLaren of Cesar Hagedus as well. So these guys, hopefully you can just try and get out of the way from them, just make their own space so they don't trip up over any of them. But right on board with this Van Pookie for the first lap of this season, runs this first social race. Hopping to the left and hop towards the right and across the line. We will come with this Van Pookie to start the first lap of the new season. On board then with the Alfa Romeo of this Van Pookie coming up into turn 1, the 4 flat out of turn 1, if you like, 162 miles an hour until you have a little bit of a dip into turn 2, 99 miles an hour, almost down 60 miles per hour in these new F1 cars. Up on the left, a 3, a 4, into number 5, stay touch the curve as much as you can, keep the revs very, very high, up into 6 for the traction, a flat on towards the left hand as you make your way in towards the Degners now. 4 in towards Degner 1 first, 162 miles an hour into turn number 9, Degner 2, 87 miles an hour until you hit into the slowest part of the section as you mentioned just before the hairpin. A full lock to the left, a little bit of a lock up there for this Van Pookie, just get away with it. 43 miles per hour out of there into a flat out section of turn number 12, 177 miles per hour in the modern F1 cars, 189. This Van Pookie is really flying it here towards the spoon curve, the famous spoon curve, 150 miles an hour, really attacking those curves. Is this Van Pookie as he makes his way up towards 130R, fully flat out in these modern day cars, maybe a little bit of a lift in these modern old days throughout the ages, and in towards the final couple of corners of the Casio Triangle. A hop on the right, a hop on towards the left. He's kept it clean as this Van Pookie. What's it going to be though as he comes towards the final corner, stay tight to the right hand side line across the line. It's a 128.328 actually, as Jan Halliday puts it into a 128.733, and that is a fairly stamp marker lap there from Miss Van Pookie joining.
Yeah, what a great way to start our qualifying session, leaving Jan Halliday for 10th of his time. So a good advantage for the Alfa Romeo driver. Let's see if he manages to keep it throughout the session, or if one of the guys that haven't yet for the time will be able to grab and steal that pole position. Quite a few yellow flags at the moment, people trying to get a gap to start their laps, some just finishing their laps and trying to get out of the way for the drivers that are behind them starting their laps.
Absolutely, we were just watching Alejo in the Ferrari. He has actually backed off just before the Casio Triangle. Race K on a 53.8. He's made a mistake somewhere in that lap. Kerry G on a 29.8 as well, alongside Robbie Van, the man we're watching just right now in our mirrors, in the Mercedes on a 29.496. Saba Hegedus on a 129.113 in the McLaren. Yuri Dovson on a 29.1 as well. So a few drivers getting it a little bit wrong in their first couple of runs as Timo Zelenovic gets into P8, immediately replaced by Fedor Blokhin in the Alpine for P7 on 29.170. Incredibly close between the top 6 there, top 5 even, all the way down was very, very tight indeed. Ismail Fassi on the intermediate compounded tyres. Obviously, very strategic shout out with a lot of people do decide to do side by side actually with the Ferrari of Modestra and Mena rubbing wheels. A few friendships have been gathered between the two, obviously parts of the same esports team together, so they do fair share their same accomplishments. Obviously side by side into 130R. We're having our first bit of racing in qualifying here, shoving each other off the track, and very, very tight between the Aston Martin there. Very, very tight indeed on the intermediate compound tyres, just to make sure everything is working on their setup, everything's working fine on their rig, and I'm sure everything is working fine. All right, Danny Lusing is currently on a lap in the McLaren as he enters into sector 1. It's a 32.380, which is currently purple. And that double look up there, though, for Danny Lusing is definitely going to cost him a lot of time. Those tyres maybe a little bit too cold for Danny's liking, but that has definitely cost him a lot of time, Joanna.
For sure, I'm looking forward to see what Danny can put on the table. The other at the moment only him and Zetmir are on fast laps, so most of our drivers back into the pits trying to fit a new set of tires to go for another attempt. But as we speak, we have both going into 100 per yard. Let's see. Danny will be the first finishing a lap. Let's see how he manages. Going a bit wide, and he completely gives up on that attempt. Coming back into the pits. In the meantime, Zetmir going into the Casio triangle, keeping it close to the wall on the right, so to minimize the distance. And he only manages to do a 1:31, so a bit of time to take out of that lap for the Alpine driver.
Yeah, he's about 2 seconds off Kerry G there in the Haas, so he's got a lot of time to fight. Maybe a few incidences on his lap, maybe a few misdemeanors that has happened, but obviously Danny Lusink was looking very mighty in Sector 1, but just fell away from him in Sector 2 and Sector 3, which is not ideal for him. Emiliano Sanchez, however, in the Red Bull, will be going for one more. His first run of the session, his first clean run of the session, will be starting now to make his way towards the Dunlop curve through the S's into Dunlop now of 6 in towards the highest speed corner of 720 miles per hour, going about 140 there. So the Red Bull of Emiliano Sanchez really giving it everything on this run. 33.446 into Sector 1 as he went into Technical 2. That seems to be a very, very tricky corner for a lot of our drivers this evening. There seems to be a lot of locking up we are seeing happening. Maybe that just the incident of some stone cold tyres, or just the fact that they're just not used to their braking zones just yet. We'll stay aboard with the Red Bull of Sanchez as he makes his way towards Spoon Corner, flying towards the left-hander, down 3 gears actually into 5th, down to 4th as well, keeping it nice and tidy through in towards 5th. And on towards the curves they go in towards 130. Sector 2 splits is just around the corner for Emiliano Sanchez. What's it going to be for him? A few yellow flags flying as well. 15.050 into Sector 2. Flying into the Casio triangle now comes the Red Bull. Hop on the right, a hop on the left. Is he going to keep this lap going is the question. Yes, he is. He'll pull to the right-hand side line. Across the line he comes. And only 16th with a 32.257, but that just seems a little bit cautious from the Red Bull.
Yeah, ahead of him on track was Dimitri Minic, jumping to P4 for now. So a decent first attempt for the AlphaTauri driver. And I think Jan was also on a lap, or maybe just burning fuel. He says he's not on a hot lap, but he's not using any battery, so probably just trying to burn some fuel to go for a second attempt on the least possible amount, so the car is lighter, and that of course translates to speed. But yeah, we still have the two, I'm not sure if Ismael is also Spanish, but at least Modesto I know he is, both are still on the intermediate tires, leaving it a bit late in my opinion for a first attempt, if it doesn't go that well.
Yeah, absolutely. So 8 minutes left to go in the session. We're currently riding on board with Yone Dawson, who will be getting that nice slipstream from the AlphaTauri in towards 130. And I'm sure they'll be very thankful to Alfa Jack for that one. I believe it was. Dimitri Minic is on a lap, flying towards the left and the right-hander for Yone Dawson. A very quick man on the PC platform across the line now. Puts it into P3. That's not bad at all from Yone Dawson, the 28.655. Puts him in towards the top of the second row, just beating Jan Hallidish there in the Shizuka on his 28.733, but it's still Istvan Pukki. His first lap might be coming, his one and only lap, and that might keep him pole position. He's currently 2.5 tenths quicker than his FES teammate of Ben Samakonyi, and then about 3 tenths of a second quicker than Yone Dawson as well. So he's got that quite a very, very nice gap between all of his drivers so far. 7 minutes to go, so there's still a lot of time left, but this one Pukki definitely doing well. We're right on board with the Alfa Romeo right now. He is actually on a lap and he's currently going a little bit quicker, 35 thousandths up into Sector 2. He makes his way into the Casio triangle. The Alpine maybe a little bit distracting. However, that's not going to be. However, for Istvan Pukki, he crosses the line now and goes even quicker into the low threes. We go 28.308 for Istvan Pukki. That is absolutely fantastic from the Alfa Romeo driver, and stops Ben Sabakonyi into a little bit more. He just crossed the line again. I think he's going to try and go one more. No, he's not. He is backing off. But Ben Sabakonyi...
Bence took 1/10 out of his time, but was not enough to attack for pole position.
Yeah, absolutely. He's just got a 10th off, as Joanna's just said, but he's going to need a little bit more than that. As we just have a look, about a 10th and a half separating the two. So Sabakonyi has got a little bit quicker up his sleeve, but there's definitely still more time he's going to need on Istvan Pukki, and I think he's going to have to need more of the lap of his life if he wants to try and get pole position away from the things they're looking.
Zelenkovic finishing his lap, jumping to P3. He took 7/10 out of his time. Was getting more than half a second out of the second sector. So a major improvement all around from Zelenkovic in the Red Bull.
Absolutely. So he puts it into P3. A beautiful lap time there from the man himself. Jeremy just starting his lap as well in the Williams. A few more drivers coming towards the final corner. I think they're all on out laps so far, and I think the only drivers who are really on laps is Fidel Blockin, Jeremy as well, and also I think that's it actually for now. Fidel Blockin was up on his time, but he's decided to back out of that one. 2 seconds down on his one, so he's going to try and go for one last ditch attempt. He's run on board with Jeremy John in the Williams car. It was about just under 2/10 up on his personal best in sector 1, so it's looking good so far. Maybe to just try and snatch 6th place off Dmitry Minik. So he makes his way towards Spoon Corner. Into 12 he goes, into 13, 14. Very, very quick left-hander, just a little bit off the throttle. Makes sure it rotates in up into 5th for the traction to make sure you get on the throttle early and in towards 130R. Then the detection zone of sector 2 is just coming up towards you now. So Fassi has disconnected from the detection. Hope he can get in as quickly as possible. Almost 3.5 up is Jeremy now. He's on a flyer so far, and that might get him in towards the top 4 if he's lucky through sector 3. It's looking pretty good through sector 3, you know. Where will this put the Williams man in the spec of things? He goes up into P3. That's a very, very good lap there from the VRI machine of Jeremy. That's a beautiful lap with a 28.510, and he's knocking on the door of Ben Sabakonyi as well. He's only a couple of hundredths off him as well, so that is
who's also gunning for P3. Oh, he goes P2. Jan Yalade finishing his lap. Sorry about that, Joshua, but I was on board with him, saying he was taking so much time out of his previous attempt. He jumps quite close to Pukki, but not enough to attack pole position. The two Aston Martins looking pretty good, sharp.
Absolutely so. Aston Martin on a 2 and 3. Jan Haladej does beat his teammate to that second place spot, and I tell you what, it's looking likely to be a 3-way horse, maybe even a 4-way horse race for pole position here. Istvan Pukki went quick on his second run, about 3 minutes left to go in the session, so he's probably going to be thinking about going for his final run in a few moments time. Jan Haladej, we'll have a look how close he is to Istvan Pukki, just under a 10th and a half slower so far. If he can get a good run on his final run, he'll be definitely looking likely to try and do well in this race. Emiliano Sachez, however, is about a 1.5 seconds down, so he might be coming into the pits. Yes, he is. And obviously, as well, Suspa Harigus as well, just starting his first couple of runs, his final run in qualifying as well. Don't think he'll have enough time to do one more. Just looking how long is left, 2.5 minutes, left in this sector. But we'll stay on board with the McLaren driver. Deso Mena has retired from the session, so he's thinking to maybe try and go for a last question mark challenge if he likes, starting 18th. So he has got a lap on the board, depending if Danny Lusink and Ismail Fassi can get a lap on the board. He's currently a 1.5 seconds down so far, is Zesper, so he's not really doing so well at the moment in time. Jan Haladej retires from the session. He doesn't think he can go any quicker. So Ben Sabakonyi just coming out for his final run. And it's definitely going to be very, very close between himself and Istvan Pukki for that pole position spot, Joanna.
Both looking good for that pole position at the moment. I'm on board with Jeremy. he's taking 1.5 tenths of his time. That would put him very close to BenQ. So let's see. Oh, but he misses the exit. That you have to go for the curve in case of triangle, but you have to keep control of your car, and he missed it for a bit. 1/10 of the time he was taking off, and still P6 for the Mercedes driver. I think it's yeah. Saba was coming on a hot lap, but he aborted. Yeah, with full battery, going for the last attempt now. Who else do we have on a lap? So Race K with the problem out of the SS section, keeping to the right, letting the Williams driver go by. I think it was Feather. No, Feather is back starting the SS, so it should be Jeremy. Yeah, but he's still on our outpass.
Think it will be Kerry G next across the line in P15. He's just making his way through Spoon Corner now, on towards the curbs up to 6th gear. He has warming up, so I think he might be abandoning this one, maybe trying to go for one more. He's only got one attempt left. He's currently 3 seconds down, so he's going to go and try for one more run. I think we've had a spinner somewhere in the lap. One of the Mercedes. Is that Robbie Van on his out lap? I wonder. No, it's not. I think it might be Yanni Dobson, however. I'm not quite sure. We did see yellows. Oh, I did see yellows slowing down. I think it was Yanni Dobson actually just letting someone go. But we'll focus our attention though to Istvan Pukki and Ben Sabo Konyu run on boards with Ben Sabo Konyu first. He's about just under a tenth and a half. He's currently purple through sector one. He's about matching Istvan Pukki so far. He makes his way through the hairpin. The checkered flag is now out for qualifying. This is going to be very, very intense. Ben Sabo Konyu making his way through the fast right-hander, of turn 12, 185 miles per hour as you head into Spoon Corner. A dab on the gears, down into 6th gear, down into 5th. For turn 14, Fiddle blocking, retires from the session. He can't do any better. We ride on board with the Hungarian man of Ben Sabo Konyu. What's he got in the tank compared to his teammate? He crosses the detection zone. He's 3/10 up. It's looking very, very good for for Ben Sabo Konyu, as he makes his way through sector 3. This has to be perfect for the Hungarian man. He crosses the line. It's looking pretty good. However, we ride on board with Ben Sabo Konyu across the line. It's pole position for Ben Sabo Konyu. It's looking good. Istvan Pukki only 22 thousandths up. He might not get this in time, you know. This might has just fallen on to Ben Sabo Konyu. He crosses the line now. It's not enough. It's Ben Sabo Konyu who snatches it right at the death. Istvan Pukki is second place with Ben Sabo Konyu on pole position by a tenth of a second, and that was very, very tight indeed. Jeremy just crosses the line, does stay in P5, but oh my goodness me, what an end to qualifying that was. And it's Ben Sabo Konyu on pole position, Joanna.
Yeah, what a finish. I was on board. You were on board with BenQ, I was on board with Istvan. I was looking that he wasn't really improving his times, so the Hungarian from the Aston Martin had a shot at pole position, and he actually did it. Let's see what will happen on the few first corners of the race and the few first laps. Well, we'll see the whole race really, but let's see, especially on the beginning, how those two will be able, and if Pezzo is able to get onto jump either of them during the start procedure. Also curious to see what both Spaniards will do from 18 and 20.
Absolutely, so it's going to be very, very tight indeed. Thank you all so much for tuning in to qualifying. We'll be back in a couple of moments' time with a few announcements from our sponsors. Be sure to stay tuned in a couple of moments' time. Right, thank you all so much for tuning back in. We'll just do one little quick advert and then we'll jump straight back in. We're just about to go underway for the Japanese Grand Prix. Welcome back. If you're just tuning us in, this is Ben Sabakonyi on pole position from his teammates of Istvan Pukki as we just get in towards the lobby now. And we're waiting to go. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights on. And we're ready to go in Japan. It seems to be a very good start there from Ben Sabakonyi. Immediately tries to plug away. But look at Aleppo, who's had an absolutely fantastic start. We're almost 4 wide into turn 1. It is Istvan Pukki who takes the lead into turn 1. It's not been the greatest of starts for Ben Sabakonyi. But it's Istvan Pukki who takes the lead. They were 4 wide off the start. Alejo did get a better getaway. But what a start there off the lights. It's Istvan Pukki who takes the lead at the Japanese Grand Prix. Ben Sabakonyi falling behind ever so slightly to the clutches of Alejo. It's Jan Haladic as well, trying to close up as well as P4 with Timo Zenovic in P5. It's all getting very, very tight indeed in these first couple of runs. We'll just get everything up to date for you as well. They do just come in, but what a start off the lights and what a start for Istvan Pukki. Yellow flags in sector 2. Seba Hagadu having a little bit of a moment with Modestra Mena, who started on the soft compound tyres, but Istvan Pukki taking an 8/10 chunk out of Ben Sabakonyi off the start, Joanna.
Yeah, an unfortunate incident between Zetmir and Danny Losing, spinning the McLaren driver and making him drop to almost dead last. But yeah, what a start from Modesta Mena on the softs, taking the best of it. He was P10, I believe. So P10 so far, still fighting ahead of him. It's just what he needs so he can even come closer to them. And it's also close from P1 to the end almost, really. So let's see if there is any break here for the DRS is available. And where will that break occur? Because we have quite a few drivers on the hard tire, quite a few opting for the medium compound at the beginning. Those on the hard will be faster at the end. And the snap from Dimitri Minic. Modesto Mena looking on the inside, now the outside. They're doing the S section side by side, but it's Ferrari advantage in Suzuka.
Absolutely so. Modestra Mena is a man on a mission at the moment. 10 places gained within about a lap. He's been absolutely fantastic on the soft compound tyre so far. The only man actually on the soft compound tyre on this grid. Everyone else on the hard. So the medium's a little bit of a snap there out of the second deck. He does get away with it, however, in the Ferrari, and already all over the back of Yone Dobson so far. Istvan Pukki has been just getting away from Ben Sabakonyi so far. IGP Alejo has been really keeping up to temperature with Ben Sabakonyi so far. He's done really, really well to keep up to enter into screen corner. We will get DRS on the next lap. A little bit of a moment there. Once again, the tyres still a little bit cold. We have a yellow flag. Is that Jeremy has just spun round? I think it might be. I think there's been contact as well. Not sure what has happened, but that is not ideal for a lot of the guys on that grid, unfortunately. And they have been spat out on towards the scene. We ride on boards with Yone Dobson as Modestra Mena does muscle his way past as Sespa Haganu and Race K do battle away for the final points of the session. Modestra Mena the fastest up in the Grand Prix. We ride on board with this battle between Sespa and Race K. I do believe it's going to be the McLaren who just gets in the way. Yellow flag, and I believe that is Jeremy who's just come round. Oh, and a massive snap there for Sespa Haganu as the yellow flags, full yellows, have come out. I do believe that might be a safety car, a full safety car there. Jeremy GLN has crashed out of the final corner, a little bit like Timo Glock in practice 1, all the way back in 2009, I think it was. And that is a huge blow, and we have an early safety car already in this race. And I wonder if Modestra Mena might have a look there, if anyone really has a look. It might be a little bit too early, but the option is still there.
I think to be a bit mean and ask if we're old enough to see Formula 1 in 2009. But let's keep back to the game. Yeah, it seems that it's been an interesting start with a very interesting mix on tire compounds since the start and with the overtakes. But it all seems quite close. If it wasn't close, it will be with the safety car already out of turn 2 waiting for our train of cars to catch him. I'm not sure. It's an Aston Martin safety car here. will we have a 1-3 Aston Martin for a few moments?
We'll have to wait and see. I think we'll have a 1-2-4 at the moment. It depends which safety car we do get. This Van Pookie lines us up towards the final couple of corners on the hard compound tyres. Ben Sabukonyi just follows him through as well. Alejo obviously working really well from those medium compound tyres, so he's been he's done really well from lower down the field, around about P4 I think he was. And what a start, he got off the lights as well, really challenging the first, the top three off the lights, getting a really good getaway. I think we have a Mercedes safety car, unfortunately, with that red livery there. Beautiful car, I do believe, if I do say so myself. Very nice indeed. And it is this one, Pookie, who starts us away. And Sabukonyi will finish in second place so far, with Alejo in P3, Jan Haladesh in 4th, with Jack in P5, Zelenovic in 6th, Mena 7th, with Dobson in 8th, Race K is 9th, with Blockin in 10th, Lillian in 11th, with Hegadu in 12th, Robbie Van in 13th, with Kerry G in 14th, with Zelcha in 15th, Danny Lusink in 16th, unable really to start to pull away or try and get anything done in the background, with alongside Ismail Fassi as well in 17th, with Miro Satches in 18th after a little bit of a collision with himself and Dimitri Minik as well in P19. And we've lost Jeremy Glynner, which did bring out the safety car in this race, lap 4 of 27, and has been a very tight affair indeed. We are yet to have a full lap of DRS so far, but we will be getting underway very shortly, in about 3 laps time, I wonder, as we just start to pack up the grid. This is getting fairly interesting, but the man of the hour so far has definitely got to be Modestro Mena. Started on the sauce, really worked his way through the field off the start, and he's gained quite a few positions. I do see so. Oh, what has happened there to Alejo? What has happened there? I'm not quite sure. Has he had a spin maybe?
It was a dissing. He jumped in front of Modesto Mena. Thankfully, I think Zelenkovic managed to let him by back. Well, but he's jumping a lot. He just jumped again. Bit of dissing issues for the other Ferrari maybe. That's quite unfortunate. We didn't actually get DRS. It was on lap 3, and the DRS detected a little before the starting of the lap, so they weren't able to use it on lap 3. So, and lap 4 was already the safety car. So still no DRS aided maneuvers happening tonight. So let's see if we get this show back with the safety car going into the pits. I'm not sure if it will be this lap with Dimitri pitting again. He pitted with Emilio on the last lap, on the first lap of the safety car, and he decided to pit again from hard compound, maybe trying to go to the end, not sure. So let's see. And it's also going to be interesting to see what Modesto Mena can do. This safety car, of course, will let him take the soft tires a bit longer, but it's always a challenge because it brings the pack all together. So if you have to stop shorter after the safety car, you'll lose more positions, of course, than you would without one. Let's see how far he can take the soft tires. It's one of the main differences, in my opinion, in this game. In the previous ones, we always went for medium soft or soft medium, and now it's very rare to have a track where you don't need a hard compound on a 50% race.
Absolutely. So we probably might be getting a safety car in this lap. This one, Pookie, will lead us away from Ben Sabukonyi in P2, Jan Haladesh in P3, with F3 Jack in P4. Leo has disconnected. Hopefully he'll try and get back in as soon as possible. There he is, just getting in right now. Timo Zelenovic in P6 for the ET8 team in the Red Bull. Modestro Mena just behind him in P7, has made a lot of ground so far, as you can see. Just get up how everyone has fared out so far. 11 positions gained there for Modestro Mena. I think the safety car will be coming in this lap. Maybe not actually. Yes, it is. Very late call actually, as we are very much bunched all together from where the safety car is. And it will be Istvan Pookie who will lead us away. Sabukonyi's just getting stuck there. I'm not sure what has happened to Ben Sabukonyi, but Istvan Pookie has got the drive of his life, and he's already 3 seconds, almost 3 seconds clear of the rest of the pack. And I think Ben Sabakovi may be struggling from a little bit of a limiter issue. But here we go then with Jan Holiday. And it might be a slipstream. It's going to go for it. Jan Holiday down the inside. He's got the job done with Ben Sabakovi having a shocking start at the start of this restart. And it's Ben Sabakovi down into P3. The Aston Martins change position. And it's Jan Holiday who gets the job done up into P2. And I believe that was Ismail Fassi with a 5-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags. Referee Jack now all over the back of the struggling Hungarian as we make their way up towards Declan 1. It's Pedestrian Mena now up into P6, battling with Tino Zelanovic in P7. We run aboard the Ferrari now. It's a Ferrari 5-6 with Aleo trying to catch up to Jack, with Jack trying his best to try and get on to Ben Sabakonyi. But what an absolutely incredible turn of events with Jan Hardage now getting up into P2, but he's 2 seconds back on Isvan Puki.
I think that Bente might have had that bug where you can't just go on the throttle, you have to switch gears, and he probably doesn't know about he might not know about it, and he got stuck, couldn't go on the throttle, and that cost him a position at the restart, and it might cost him a second one because Jack is quite close to his rear. He's having to take the foot off the throttle as close as he was, but he has better exit out of the last turn, but it seems that the Aston Martin might be just safe for now.
Absolutely. So Jan Holiday, and I do say this, I reckon he's probably the fastest man on the track so far. He is on the timing sheets as well. He's just gone purple out of anyone so far on the hard compound tyres, and it is gaining by about 0.3 a lap on Isvan Puki. We ride on board with FRA Jack in P4, really hunting down Ben Sabakonyi. He seems to have the better of him in a straight line, which is always helpful around Japan. Obviously, you do have those slightly technical corners as well, but into 130R, in towards turn 1, it will highly benefit you quite a bit. Modestro Mena, however, really catching up to his teammate Vallejo. Those soft compound tyres might be starting to die maybe, as he is not getting closer than he has been these past couple of laps, but he is still catching his Ferrari teammate on those medium compound tyres. A little bit of a wobble from his teammate there, Vallejo. Will this be a switch of positions? Is Modestro Mena all over the back of this Ferrari as they come in towards the speeding corner? Does he have enough drive? No, he's not. He might have to wait for 130R run and board through into Spoon. FRA Jack, however, is really closing up to the back of Ben Sabakonyi, as Ben Sabakonyi trying his best to keep up with Jan Holiday, as we make our way through into 130R. Nothing done by Jack so far. Can anything be done by Modestro Mena? Does he chuck it inside? He wants to, down the inside goes the Spaniard, and Malejo says, no you don't, son. Side by side they go on the soft compound tyres, rubbing all the way. This is brilliant between the two Ferraris, but it's Modestro Mena who just gets the better run, and up to P5, Joanna.
What a moment between the two Ferraris. Quite typical of the Italian brand to have both drivers fighting it off. At the same time we have Jack. And he spins. There is a contact between him and Benji, and thank God there is ghosting right now, because otherwise there might have been quite a few accidents after that one.
Well, that is absolutely shocking to see there. Jeffrey Jack has been sent spinning around, and what was looking so good for the youngsters now been sent down the pan into P18 he goes, and now he's got a lot to do in these next 20 laps to try and catch up to the back of the fields. It's still Isvan Puki's just got away a little bit from Jan Hardej in P2, Ben Sabakonyi in P3, but Modestro Mena in P4 really hunting down Ben Sabakonyi like a lion so far. The Spanish lion that he is, Modestro Mena, a really, really quick driver. A little bit of a wobble though on the exit, just losing a little bit of time. He will get that up, but obviously the soft compound tyres are not going to die. And that is a disconnection actually from Modestro Mena. Hopefully he can get back in as quickly as possible. Not what he needs right now, as he is trying to hunt up into P2. His teammate Vallejo gets back in. He's letting everyone go, and that is not what he needs. Isvan Puki, the fastest man on the track so far, 1:32.159. We're going to go back to the battle between Jere Dobson and Timo Zelenovic. Are they any close enough? Zelenovic tries to defend. A little bit of contact made. A little bit of maybe a little bit of sniff there from Jere Dobson. Not enough to try and get past a Mercedes versus Red Bull, where we heard this before, but it's still Zelenovic on top so far with Jenny Dobson trying to catch up on the hard compound tyres.
Few positions back, fight between Fassi and Robbie Van, with the Alfa Romeo driver, although he's penalized, getting the best at the moment, up to P12. This is happening right behind, I think Modesto, Modesto, I think he's having a bit, he's disconnected as well.
Yes, he is, unfortunately. Hopefully he can try and get back in as quickly as possible, unless he has decided to call it a day. Hopefully not, however. He was running very, very well in P9, but hopefully we'll get back in as quickly as possible. And, however, in the Williams trying to catch up with the Alpine Fedor, who's actually not running very well on his ERS. You can see the lights flashing, and this is an opportunity for Lillian to try and have a sniff of the Alpines. They come up towards 130i. We'll get the DRS on the back straight. Ooh, just a Fedor on race care. I tell you what, he might not, it's flickering between 9/10 and a second. I don't think he will get it. He's lost a lot of time through the Casio triangle. Does he get it or not? Will flick on over. No, he does not. So it will be Lillian with the advantage on the DRS. Is he close enough to try and make a move? Is the question. He's in the slipstream DRS, and even though the straight line speed is not going to work out for the Williams driver, and he remains in that P9 spot, but really hunting down the Alpine in front of him.
Quite a few trains still going on now with the DRS actually available for our drivers. The AI decides to pit Modesto Man. I'm not sure if he or Alejo is going. No, Alejo, I think he's back. We had some information on from our chat that the first disconnection at least was an ego damper error for the Ferrari driver. That's quite unfortunate. Again, just crashing. But it seems like he's back and he's trying to stay in the DRS margin of Vincent Zabacconi. So let's see if he manages to do it. He's still on the softer compound, comparing to the cars ahead of him, of course. Medium tires for the Ferrari driver. So let's see if he manages to keep it and how far he will go before he decides to swap for the hard tires.
He's got a very experienced Ben Sabacconi in front of him as Alejo. I'm not 100% sure, I haven't really heard of him before Alejo, I do apologise, but from what I've seen so far, he is a very, very feisty driver. He's very, very, very quick, I do say so, and he's really keeping in with Ben Sabacconi at the moment. He's kept a lot of top drivers at bay so far, and currently is eating away to Ben Sabacconi's lead, about 6/10 now into turn one. He's getting about 3/10 already, so his setup in a straight line is absolutely perfect. It's just a question if you can try and keep up with the Aston Martin. Is Ismail Fassi just behind, gets up into P9, dispatches of Fedor blocking in P10, gets the job done. Does the other Alfa Romeo driver, his teammate of Istvan Pukki, currently in P1. He stayed back on board with Alejo so far as he makes his way towards the S's and in towards the Degners. Up towards the hairpin comes the Ferrari, really hunting down Ben Sabacconi, but I tell you what, he's got Timo Zelenovic just behind him in P5 on the hard compound tyres, and maybe these mediums just starting to die. You can just see how much he's losing. A yellow flag, I think that is Robbie Van having a little bit of an issue there. I'm not quite sure. No, it's not actually. Is that the Red Bull of Arignano? No, it's not. It's going to be one of the Alpines who's lost a little bit of time. Is that front wing damage or not? I'm not quite sure. I don't think so. I think it's just a spin for one of the Alpines, unfortunately, but that is not what he needs at all. But right now we flick on over to the back of this battle. It's still Alejo really trying to keep up with Ben Sabacconi. He's doing a good job so far, but it's just about flickering in and out and keeping with the DRS.
Yeah, and we have quite a battle for the last two paint position. For the two last points paint positions. While we have Saba leaving that fight and going for the pits, he might be the first one going on a normal window for the hard tires. Joshua, I was going to ask you if you can just pause and unpause the game to see if the sound glitch is solved that way or not. Some people mentioning it on the stream, so hopefully it will solve it, or at least I'll minimize it. In the meantime, we have Dimitar Minic quite close to Daniel Losing. fighting for P11 at the moment. Danny seems to have lost a bit of contact with Fedor ahead of him, but then again Fedor is fighting with Ismail, so he might lose some time and be enough for the McLaren driver to catch up to him.
Yeah, absolutely. I do apologise for any audio glitches that might happen. I think that might be on the game. I don't think it's on my guard, so I'm not hearing the game on my own. So I do apologise if there are any sound glitches that are happening. But nevertheless, hopefully it is can be try and be ignored as quickly as possible. I'm not sure if there's anything I can do to try and fix it. We'll carry on with the race. Nevertheless, Team Zelenovic, currently hunting down Aleo in P5, who's just lost the DRS of Ben Summer. Those mediums might be starting to die, or if not, just died now. And there you can see, there you go, that's Aleo. He's having enough of the medium compound tyres, but Estremena finally gets back into the session. Danny Lusink now with a 3-second time penalty. Aleo pulls the trigger on towards the hard compounded tyres, gets out a very, very nice stop for the Ferrari man. Alongside Efro Jack, who also joins him in the pit lane. And should come out around P14, depends where Satchis will come out. I think he's a little bit too far behind. Might be a little bit tight, but I think Aleo will just have this as we enter into turn 1. Might be tight, no it won't. There will be Aleo sitting into P14 for now. 1.3 seconds quicker, well, about a second behind in front, of Emiliano Satchis, 13 seconds behind Kerry G, but obviously everyone in front of him does have to pit, and I wonder if this undercut might turn into a little bit of a booster for Aleo. Currently 14 seconds back on Harry, but can he do anything to try and keep up? We run on board with Ispan Puki, one of the two. However, he's currently leading this race. Probably has got a little bit more time to go until he switches onto the mediums. But Aleo's really going to have to pound in these fast laps now if he wants to try and get in front of Ben Sabakonyi.
Drivers was still quite close on Trikar Dovzan and Timur Zelenkovic, with the Mercedes driver going for it before 130R, getting up to P4. Let's see if the Red Bull is able to get a better exit out of the Kaizio triangle and be able to attack him with DRS during the main straight. But no, the Mercedes driver does the overtake, but then goes into the pits in the middle of the race, I guess. So yeah, if Race K is able to do 13 laps on mediums, he surely will be able to do the 13 that will be left after this one on the medium compounds with the liar car. So we might have most drivers trying to stop on the next lap or so. So it shouldn't be long until we have most of our pit stops.
Absolutely, yeah, Dawson was actually...
Yeah, going for soft tire. Sorry about that.
Yeah, Yoni Dawson on the soft compound tyres. I'm not sure if that's a mistake or if Yoni's trying to go for a 2-stop or that is on purpose. Because those soft top compound tyres, there's about 12-13 laps to go in this session. And there goes actually Yoni Dawson off, is that? I've just seen a Mercedes part to the wall. No, it hasn't. Oh my goodness, man, I've just seen on my screen the Mercedes fly in towards the barrier. That's not the case. Actually, I do apologise anyone if I have startled you a second there. But yeah, Yannick Dawson on the soft compound tyres. Not sure if that is his decision or if that's a mistake. But those soft compound tyres will not last until the end of this race unless he nurses them for absolutely ages. It's possible, but even if he does, it's going to be very, very hard to do so, and he's going to be losing a lot of time in this race. We'll have to wait and see.
Sorry, Joshua. Daniel losing brave on the brakes into the Casio triangle, but then again, why are they forcing these maneuvers just to pit in the next moment? I can't really follow their thinking, but it was a really brave maneuver from the McLaren driver just before he pits for medium compound.
Yep, Danny Lusing in for the medium compound tyres. Yoni Dobson, as we were saying, on the soft compound tyres, unless he may be predicting a safety car late in. But even then, he's going to have to pit either way because those soft compound tyres will probably be done and dusted either way. Danny Lusing comes out into P13. He joins Ismail Fassi just in front of him in P14. Also on fresh medium compound of tyres. And this is starting to get a little bit interesting with a few of these strategy calls. There's currently Alejo still in P10, so he has jumped Danny Lusing, Ismail Fassi, who was ahead anyway. So we're currently 2.3 seconds behind Yannick Dobson. We'll just have to have a look how far back he is on the leaders. However, he's about 29 seconds, so he's going to need a little bit. It's 29 seconds between himself and Istvan Pukki, so about 3 seconds as well. So it's about 26 from Jan Haladej. I think he might be able to catch Ben Sabakonyi from the way things are looking. We'll have a look now to see if any of them are pitted. We run on board with Ben Sabakonyi now from the hard compound tyres. His teammate of Jan Haladej does decide to peel in. So Jan Haladej breaks the barrier early. He comes in off the hard compound tyres with about 10 laps to go. Will he go into the softs or the mediums is the question. The mediums will probably be the safer option, and it is the mediums that will be chosen for the Aston Martin. So Ben Sabakonyi will go one more. We run on boards with Alejo now. He's just making his way through the Casio triangle. This is going to be extremely tight so far. Out comes Jan Haladej, and I think Alejo is going to be tight to see where he comes out. He's going to really push it, and he's just behind Timo Zelenovic, so he's really going to have to fight hard now. The undercut has not worked in favour for the Ferrari, and it might just work out. He's really going to be battling with the Red Bull. He's really going to have to push it now if he wants to try and get in front of Ben Sabakonyi. There's still an opportunity, but he's really going to have to hunt it now down, and being stuck behind Timo Zelenovic, who's on stone cold new mediums, is definitely going to be very, very tough indeed, and he's going to have to get this done now or never. Into Degner 1, not looking to get a little bit too tight, and it's just going to be a game between where he can dive it and where he will come out between himself and Ben Sabakonyi, because he's just coming through into 130R, and I wonder if they do want to pull the trigger right now.
Let's see if Istvan Pukki dives into the pits or not. I believe they will, just to be sure and safe from Jan for any attacks from Pezo. So Istvan Pukki comes into the pits, BenQ comes into the pits, and I'm pretty sure that the Haas driver will come in as well. Let's see if Jan keeps his second place, or what is going to happen after all the front runners stop.
There we go then. Istvan Pukki on the mediums. This carries you with a 5-second penalty, and that is yellow flags as well. I don't think it will be a safety car. Istvan Pukki safely comes out in P2. Jan Haladej does beat him though. Does Yannick Dobson though. It's going to be tight, you know, between the two. Just not close enough though. Alejo really out of the picture there, unfortunately. But we will be closing up, however, between Yannick Dobson and Ben Sabakonyi, flying towards the S's. They go. Yannick all over the back of Ben Sabakonyi, obviously on those quicker soft compound tyres. It will take about half a lap for Ben Sabakonyi to get these tyres up to temperature, and I wonder if Yannick will just sneak anything in towards the Degners. Is he close enough? Not quite so far. Into Degner 2 and into the hairpin they come. It's going to be very, very tight between himself and Sabakonyi. Does he want to have a look there? No, he's not. He's going to wait a little while longer. So Ben Sabakonyi into P3, Jan Haladej in P2, Istvan Pukki in P1, but Jan Haladej pissing a little bit early. Has gained about a second on Istvan Pukki.
More than a second. When Istvan Pukki got out of the pits, it was a 2.8 gap between those, but this lap with the colder tires for the Alfa Romeo driver, putting Jan almost in the DRS zone. Let's see if he manages to get. He's surely using all the barrier he has available to him to try to get into the DRS zone, DRS range of the Alfa Romeo, and it's so close, but I don't think he got it. It was really close. Let's see if the toe is enough. He actually does the fastest lap of the race so far in his efforts to get to the back of the Alfa Romeo driver, but I think the Istvan Pukki will be managing to keep his first position if nothing strange happens from now on.
Absolutely not. Danny Lusick, however, gets past Dimitri Minik for P9 there, gets the job done on the AlphaTauri driver. Istvan Pukki just getting a little bit there, and yellow flags all through Sector 1 and Sector 2 as well. Not sure what for, but we know we've come through. Istvan Pukki, and that is someone around. I believe it's one of the McLarens. Is that Cesper? Yes, it is. Saba in through into turn 1 has made a mistake. Unfortunate to see. We move on back to Istvan Pukki, who's absolutely been flying so far. 1.8 seconds now is the gap. He's got on about 7/10 away from Jan Haladej. He's really been pushing to try and get this fastest lap now. 40% ERS in usage for the Alfa Romeo driver as they come up towards 130R. And this is surely going to be a fastest lap approach for Istvan Pukki on these fresh new medium compounder tyres. About 10 laps to go in this Grand Prix. Into the Casio Triangle they come, 4th gear action, and round to the final corner comes Istvan Pukki. This should be the fastest lap of the Grand Prix across the line. No, it's not actually. He does not go quicker. It seemed very, very much quicker than Jan Haladej, but he has been keeping a fairly calm rhythm so far. 1.8 seconds is the gap between the two. Meanwhile, Ben Samakoni still in a pole position, now currently in P3 and really being hunted down by Jerne Dovson so far, just trying his best to catch up to his teammate of Jan Haladej there. Just not going to be enough, and actually a lot of mistakes there. Danny losing a lot of positions as well, battling away with Ismail Fassi for the last points of the season. Oh my goodness me, so tight. Danny looking for a switchback move, which is not going to go his way. He's all over the back of Ismail Fassi so far. Lillian with a 3-second time penalty added to his name. Fedor Blokhin is trying to get onto a little bit of this action. They headed to Degner 1, very aggressively taken on the curves is Fedor there as they come towards the hairpin once again. Danny Lusing, does he want anything on Ismail Fassi? Very late braking. Dimitri Minik goes very wide as well, which may bring Ismail Fassi back into this equation. It's not going to be close enough though as they enter into the spoon corners. This is going to be critical corners for Danny Lusing to try and get a slingshot out of the spoon and try and get anything into 130R.
You're mentioning the fastest lap. Jan had done a 1:30.2, so 7/10 faster than the 10th from Istvan Pukki. It was a really nice effort from the Aston Martin driver to try to get to the DRS range of Istvan Pukki, but unfortunately he wasted all the battery he had available to him. So he's now on a tougher spot to try, and it's already 2 seconds between him and Istvan Pukki. But it was his everything he had to try to get into the RS range of the driver ahead of him.
Absolutely so. Ismail Fassi has once again failed to try and catch up to Dimitri Minik. We'll stay on board with this battle from P9 to about P12. Really getting really close indeed with the Alpha Tauri of Dimitri Minik, the Alfa Romeo of Ismail Fassi, the McLaren of Danny Lusing, the Alpine of Fedor Blokhin, yellow flags, and that is Jerne Dovson, I believe, in the gravel, just making a little bit of a spin that might have been contact anywhere. Danny Lusing with another 3-second time penalty added to his name. He's having a torrid time so far, 6 seconds on the board. Robbie Van with a 3-second time penalty as well. Just have a look at the penalties. 6 seconds for Lillian, 9 seconds for Danny Lusing, 5 for Kerry, 3 for Jack, and 3 for Robbie Van. It's not been the greatest of the days for those guys, but we'll still stick with Dimitri Minik and Ismail Fassi. Really closing up the gap is the Spanish man as he comes towards the line. A little bit of a 3-second penalty there, a little bit of an extension for Ismail Fassi. That's going to cost him in his battle for Dimitri Minik near the end of the session. 6 laps to go. Here we go then. Ismail Fassi doesn't want to try anything into the Casio Triangle. Minik defends. It's not going to be enough so far for Fassi. Can he try and go anything into the straight line? We come up towards the DRS detection zone under the Honda sign. It's going to be side by side. Ismail Fassi versus Minik, who breezes past the Alpha Tauri into P9, and Ismail Fassi getting the job done, and into P9 he goes as Robbie Van has had a crash, and that is a full course safety car.
Yeah, and that's the safety car that Jerne needed. That's the safety car that the guy on the soft compound tires really needed. Unfortunate accident for Robbie Van out of the last turn into the checkered line. But unfortunately that was the checkered for him, in the sense that he will not be going on this race. Really unfortunate for the Mercedes driver, and of course Detmer is the first diving into the pits as the first one passing him passing there after the accident. But I'm pretty sure that all of our drivers will be going for the softer compound at the moment, and that's bad for BenQ. That's bad for BenQ.
definitely is. And this is going to be interesting who will pit. I'm sure a lot of people who are trying to go in for the soft compound tyres. It's going to have to be a double stack. If Aston Martin do want to do double stack, Pookie comes in for the soft compound tyres. Jan Haladesh joins him. Ben Samakoni, does he have enough of a gap to come in? Yes, he does. He has to. He has to come in for the soft compound tyres. He's going as slow as possible to avoid a double stack. Is it going to be enough though? In comes Jan Haladesh. In comes Ben Samakoni. This could be perfect. A little bit of a sluggish stop from Jan Haladesh is not going to be enough, but I tell you what, Alejo has decided to stay out alongside Lillian. The Williams on the mediums and the Ferrari on the hards have decided to stay out. Not sure why, but they've decided to take track position rather than go on the soft compound tyres, which may help them later on. Danny Lusink has decided to stay out as well. Everyone else on the soft compound tyres, I think that is a huge mistake from them.
And of course, Kerry G getting the chance to claim those 5-second time penalty that he had. So he'll be racing clean until the end regarding penalties. So that's let's see how many positions he gets, but he knows that this safety car will not send him automatically to the end of the grid due to the penalty he had.
Absolutely. So we'll just have a look at the penalties as well from just updated a few laps ago. It's Lillian with 6, Danny Lusink still with 9, Miss Fassi with 3, and Jack with 3. A few people serving their penalties under the pit stops. But this is going to be very, very tense until the end. We should have 4 to 5, 6, maybe about 3, 4, 5 laps of racing left in the tank once the safety car comes in. So we'll all be bunched up for a 5-lap sprint till the end. Everyone apart from Lillian, Alejo and Danny Lusink, and also Emiliano Sanchez as well. Everyone else on the soft compound tyres bar them. Lillian and Lusink on the mediums with Alejo and Sanchez on the hards. They did not want to risk track position. They've decided to stay out. I think it's going to hurt Sanchez more than it is anyone else. He's on 18-lap-old hards. He's just going to get swallowed up in that background. Pedestro Mena decided to stay out as well on 9-lap-old softs, which is going to be interesting as well.
Is it him, really? Or is it the...
That is, I believe it is him. I think it is him. It does seem to be swerving and moving like it is him. So I think that is definitely him. So he's decided to come in. Oh no, he comes in now for a fresh set of the softs. Probably the wisest thing to do. And that was very, very, very tight towards the wall there for Pedestro Mena. Lucky not to lose a tyre. A big lockup on the entrance. Lucky to get away with it, and no front wing damage as well. He comes in for fresh soft compound tyres. I think he'll just get in front of the Alpine as well, with Seba Hagadu quite far behind as well. I think he's had an accident as well. No, he hasn't. I do apologise for staying with the Delta. So we should be coming in. Yes.
Not sure why Zetmir opted to stop yet again, because he stopped at the beginning of this safety car.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
It was the first car behind Robbie when he crashed, and he did it. So interesting to see. Maybe he put some used softs instead of new, but still, very interesting to see what's going to happen. Also. With the drivers behind those unused tires, meaning the 4 guys that you mentioned, as usually they just buckle up the drivers behind them, and there are 2 drivers trying to attack the one behind. So I'm predicting that Alejo will be attacked by both Eastern and Pezzo, and this can create a 3 wide that might cause some damage to one of the cars if they're not properly behaving. The same happening behind Emilio with Dimitri and Ismail both trying to attack the AlphaTauri drivers. Might cause some dangerous situations on this restart. Let's see if the safety car decides to go in this lap, which I don't think he is, because we still have 2 drivers quite far from the Mercedes safety car. So it will go in probably on lap 24. So lap 25, 6 and 7, 3 laps of really a sprint race until the end, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We will get DRS on the only one lap, which is only going to be used up to turn 1. I even think we might not even get it with what happens there, but we'll never know. There's Lillian, who's leading on used mediums, alongside Alejo on 11 lap on hards, with this one Pookie, who's been leading all the way in P3, with Jan Haladej in P4, Danny Lusink, who did not stop, he's on 9 lap old mediums in P5, with Ben Sabakonyi in P6, Timo Zelenovic in 7th, with Race K in 8th, Yuri Dodson in 9th, with Emiliano Sanchez in 10th, Dimitri Minik is 11th, with this one Fassi in P12, Fido Blockin is 13th, with Efre Jack in 14th, Kare G is 15th, with Radesh Romero in 16th, Zdenovic in 17th, and Sespa Hagadu in 18th. That might have just changed, and I think Fido Blockin has had a little bit of incident. Yes, he has. He's had a spin up towards the turn in there through the Dunlop curb. I'm not sure what has happened, but he has had a spin. And I'll tell you who else has had a spin. Danny Lusink. He's lost a few positions as well. I'm not sure again what has happened there. I think a few incidents happening there as Danny Lusink does regain his positions. But we'll continue nevertheless. A few safety car glitches happening again, unfortunately. He's going to try and come back in to Timo Zelenovic. We should be getting underway this lap. We will have 3 laps to go if we do. Everyone is really caught up to the safety car bar. Sispa Haganis, who's just coming into the train now. We should be getting underway for lap 25, lap 26 and lap 27, as Joanna just said. We'll have 3 laps of racing left in us. It's going to be very, very tight. Place your bets. Here we go, safety car in this lap. It's Lillian who will lead us away in the Williams, alongside Alejo in P2, who's had a brilliant Grand Prix so far for Ferrari. This Van Pookie, who's been brilliant as well, led all the way through, and right now sits himself in P3 with 2 drivers in front of him on new sets of slower tyres. One on the hards, one on the mediums. When will Lillian go? It's going to be through the Casio Triangle he comes. Place your bets. He's going to go in any second now. Right now. When is he going to go? He's going to drop it now, and we're racing once again for the first social race here in ORL. It's Lillian who gets away well. It's Van Pookie now all over the back of Alejo. It's a massive train through everyone trying to battle with position side by side with everyone as they enter into turn 1. It's terrible who to pick out of this race. Yellow flags flying. I'm not sure who has crashed. I think Danny Lusing has lost a few positions. It's Van Pookie up into P3. He's trying to go around the outside of Alejo for P2. Beautifully done by the Hungarian. It's this Van Pookie up into P2, and now can try and fight up with Lillian. 3 laps to go in this race. Alejo is back down into P3 with Ben Sabakonyi all over the back in P4. Make that P3. Danny Lusing has had a crash through the Castle Triangle, I believe. No, it's not. It's the Dunlop curb, sorry. But yeah, here comes Jan Haladej round the outside. It's tight as hell as anywhere here. Timo Zelenovic trying to get into this battle as well for P4. It's absolutely chaotic in these last laps of this Grand Prix. Timo Zelenovic, he's going to try and go both of them in the Aston Martins. It's not going to work. He shoves the door away from Jan Haladej. He goes back down to P5. Zelenovic up into P4. Ben Sabakonyi in P3. And now it's Van Pookie in P2. He's got Lillian in front of him. And Lillian is going to have to fight like a dog to try and keep this first position in these next 2 laps, Joanna.
What? So many action happening at the moment with Ismail spinning out of the Casio Triangle, losing quite a few positions until last run and coming to the box. I'm ready to retire the car. In the meantime, we have more action between the 2 Aston Martins and the Red Bull of the Lenkovic into turn 1 and 2, with the order staying the same so far, but quite a few attempts from Jan Haladej to get back into the position he was. There wasn't the 3 wide that I had predicted, but because of the 2 ahead fighting, Jan lost the position to his teammate and then to Zelenkovic. And in the meantime, we still have yellow flags because of the retire, and we have Zaba away from the rest of the grid. In the meantime, we have our train of cars so close to each other, and Jack going on the inside in the airpin of Alejo, with Alejo maybe getting a better exit, so They still fighting side by side into Spoon. Let's see who gets best out of this magnificent corner, and it seems to be Jack so far getting the advantage on those old hard compound tires of Alejo.
Absolutely so. We're going to head on to the last lap of the Grand Prix momentarily. It's Mafasi retires from the session. Here comes Istvan Pukki trying for the lead. Switches to the left. Comes back onto the right. What a move from Istvan Pukki. But Lillian with a better drive out of the final corner gets the job done. Back into the P1. We are on to the last lap of the Japanese Grand Prix. Lillian is going to have to defend like crazy. Here comes Istvan Pukki with the smallest gap imaginable. Does he get the job done? Yes, he does. It's Istvan Pukki back into the lead of this Japanese Grand Prix. What a move from the Alfa Romeo driver. The smallest gap available gets it done. Istvan Pukki making his car the smallest thing on the field, and up into P1 he goes. Lillian back down into P2. Ben Samokoni still has opportunity to make it an FES 1-2 if he can, but Istvan Pukki, can he be stopped from here? Is Lillian got anything left in the tank here? We come up towards the final couple of corners. It's Istvan Pukki. He's had a brilliant Grand Prix so far, led almost all the way, and is surely going to be deserving this win if anything happens from here. It's Lillian in P2, Ben Samokoni in P3, Matthias Slanovic in P4. He's had brilliant to start from this safety car. Jan Haldej is P5 so far. We ride on boards. We'll stay on boards with Istvan Pukki throughout the remainder of this race. Lillian has definitely come back on the medium compound tire, decided to stay out, and it's definitely worked for the man in the Williams car. It's worked out on track position. He's going to stay in P2, but we ride on boards with Istvan Pukki, who's done everything correct today. It's Istvan Pukki out of the final corner and takes victory in Japan. Istvan Pukki wins the Japanese Grand Prix and the first social race in ORL this season. What a drive from him. Ben Sabokoni is P2. I think maybe from penalties that might be a issue with the leaderboard. It thought it was Lillian who got P2. Timo Zelenovic is P3 so far with Jan Haldej in P4. Yannick Dawson is P5. We'll get all the results ready for you as they come in, but I do think there might be a timing glitch. I do think it is Lillian who does get that P2, unless otherwise. Modesta Romero does get driver of the day. He had a good start all the way through, but I'm definitely going to give that one to Istvan Pukki. What a drive he had, and it is Istvan Pukki who takes the win, Joanna.
What a drive at the end, at the last possible, really last possible moment, grabbing that win. I don't think it was a time glitcher. I think Lillian had quite a few penalties up to his name. At least one of them he had since lap 7. So I think it's fair and square for BenQ and Zelenkovic on the podium, with Jan losing the podium position with this safety car. So quite unfortunate for him. He also had a good race. Modesto Meno with a very good start, as you mentioned, but then the final laps of the mid part of the race, he kind of disconnected and then went a bit under the radar of our race. But quite a few nice maneuvers we had during this break. Unfortunately for Lillian, it was the right call in his situation to stay out. But then again, the penalties were quite a big part of the race when there is a late safety car. The 6 seconds they had injuring their race quite a bit. They still managed to finish on the point-paying position, but it was a P10 for the French driver.
Absolutely. So it is Istvan Pukki who does pick the gold up for Alfa Romeo, and with the fastest lap of the Grand Prix going to him. Ben Sabokoni is P2, and Timo Zelenovic rounding out the podium. But what an absolutely fantastic race we were treated to there. What an absolutely fantastic race it was indeed. It is Istvan Pukki picking up P1, and I'm sure that is deserved, and definitely that comes in to play, and a lot of confidence heading into the main season, Joanna.
Yeah, let's see how it translates into the season. It's one thing to go for a social race. It's another completely when it's when you have the pressure of knowing that the mistake might really injure your championship. But as you've mentioned before, most of these drivers are really experienced, so maybe they'll be able to bring this rhythm into the championship. Let's see, there might be a few drivers that weren't here today that might join us for the championship, and that might make things even more interesting that we had today, which in my opinion was quite a good race.
Absolutely. So we have a load of other drivers still waiting to go much quicker, much really ready for this season still, who have signed up so far. Make sure to do sign up if you have not already. Sign-ups are still open over on the Discord, which is in the description. But that is going to be it for the social race there so far today. We might have some later on in the future. But thank you all very, very much for watching so far. Hope you have enjoyed the social race tonight. And thank you all for a few patience with also the audio as well. Hopefully it does get fixed for next time or not. But I've been Joshua Davis. Thank you all very much for letting me commentate over your races tonight. I've been Joshua Davis. Joanna Brito has been alongside me. Thank you all very, very much for watching, and we'll see you very soon for the season. Take care and good night.
I'm crazy, Captain.
Yes.
Easy going right there. Look in here. One more to go.
Ha ha ha.